What's up, family? So we all know that there are 7 spheres of influence that shape the culture that we live in. Number 1, we have the sphere of government. That's where laws are passed, and that's where power is really frozen into laws locally and nationally. Number 2, we have the arts and entertainment, and that's where certain virtues and values are celebrated or distorted. Number 3, we have education, and that's where we learn the truth about our world and our history as a country. Number 4, we have media, and that's where information is given to us through certain lenses. Number 5, we have our family. Number 6, we have religion. Number 7, we have business. Those are the 7 spheres of influence that shape the culture that we live in today. If you are fighting for justice for black people, you have to engage in all 7 spheres of influence. In the past, we've had government laws that even though black people were given the right to vote, we weren't actually allowed to vote because there were poll taxes, and then there was voter intimidation. And then even recently, there's redlining, or there's redrawing of districts, so that all the black people are clumped together with this one vote here, and then everything else is kind of separated to kind of distribute the power unevenly and unfairly. When it comes to media, there are certain media outlets that will disproportionately portray black and brown people as criminals, so it stokes fear in the hearts of our country. In the arts and entertainment, we've had films that depict black people as ignorant or as stupid or as criminals as well. In education, there's times where we gloss over some of our history as Americans, and we don't actually address the civil rights movement in an accurate light. Maybe we gloss over it. It's just one chapter of a book. We don't really go into detail about it. In families, we have families that are segregated and are broken up. We have people who are discouraged from having friends that are a different color or marrying someone who's a different color, and that's wrong on both sides. When it comes to religion, we worship God and we understand we're brothers and sisters in Christ, but sometimes our churches are more segregated than our schools. And so we don't have that integration. We don't have that diversity. And then inside of business, we recognize that even a study came out in the past 5 years that said that the wage gap between black and white people is still as wide as it was back in the day. And so although we're all making money as a country, we're growing, there's still that kind of inequality that is there. So the question becomes, how do we engage in those 7 spheres of influence in a systematic way? We understand that racism is a systemic problem, and we cannot just post that. Okay, that's not helpful. Okay, we understand that. We cannot just post that racism is a nationwide issue and we don't have a clear plan of action. So I want to give you that clear plan of action right now. Number 1, we have to cast our vote. Number 2, we need to advocate for the arts. Number 3, we need to reach out to relationships. And number 4, we need to engage in the economy. When we cast our vote, we're affecting government. When we advocate for the arts, we're advocating for arts and history and education that portrays black people and our history in a more accurate light. When we reach out through relationships, we're talking to people who don't look like us and who don't think like us so that we can come together and introduce them to our community and to our spiritual family. And number 4, we're engaging in the economy. That means that we're actually going to put our money where our mouth is. And if we want to support this community, we're actually going to buy from them. We're going to shop with them. And then we're going to not buy from people who are oppressing the same community that we're trying to support. And so, again, we're casting our vote. We're advocating for the arts. We are reaching out to relationships, and we are engaging in the economy. If you want to get trained on how to walk somebody through this framework as quickly as possible and start collecting commitments and getting action steps out of this conversation, please just let me know. DM me. We'll go back and forth, maybe over a Zoom call, and get you trained up on that. But again, those are your 4 steps to combat this problem. And please, again, do not post just the hurts and the hangups and the habits that we have as a country. But if you don't have a plan, you don't care enough to have a plan, then we need to fix that. So again, we need to care. C.A.R.E. Cast your vote, advocate for the arts, reach out to relationships, and engage in the economy.